Welcome back to the pregame. It's time now for the EMS Detergent Surfaces Assistant Coach Minute. Talking with offensive coordinator of the fresh Soph football team, Brian Boelk. Team's off to a fresh, strong start, 3-0. Walk us through how the first three games have gone in your mind. Are they fulfilling all the things you want them to fulfill at this point?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's been great. It's been a great start for our guys. We have a lot of athletes on this team, and that's nice for your starting point, right? We got fundamentals and things like that we still got to work through. But when you have the athletes to start with and they're a group that's hungry and work hard, that's where we start. It's nice to be with the varsity this year, right, and get those guys some reps against this competition, and we've seen a big difference in that this year versus last.
And the numbers are a little bit more this year for the fresh Soph. You're looking at 25 players that you can take on games on any given Monday or Thursday, as it were, for the first couple of weeks. So to have those numbers, to have a little bit of flexibility and depth, makes it a little bit easier. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a little more depth with the experience too. Sophomores last year, we didn't really have many sophomores. Most of them were playing up or they needed to play up, and with the COVID and everything, we couldn't go both ways. So yeah, to have the numbers and to have some of that and that sophomore experience, it kind of shined through even last night in our game. So
now getting into your second, third season, what season are you in now for coaching?
Just second here for football.
Second season.
Yeah.
How much has changed? The kids always say, the speed of the game has changed if we get from level to level. Yeah. How much has changed for you? Is it different with the aforementioned numbers, or is it basically you take what's in front of you and we just work with it?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a little more comfortable for sure this year, just being involved and being in it, working under Hirsch and being part of that, listening to the calls and tracking that up in the booth and translating that into another year. It's been a lot easier, I think, a lot smoother.
How fun is it for you from that perspective, but then to be a part of, you've got sons, twin boys that no one can tell apart unless one of them's throwing the football. Then we know who's who, and they're wearing different jersey numbers. From that perspective, you go from coaching, but then you get to be on the sideline as a coach and a dad on Friday nights.
Yeah, and sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's hard to kind of separate them, that's for sure. It's great to be able to have a good view up in the booth to be able to watch them, but you certainly have to watch everything on the offensive side to help out down on the field as well. So you do get caught up sometimes wanting to be the dad and separating those. But it's fun to be involved in that facet, to be able to see them, even if I'm with the fresh Soph most of the time, but be able to be interacting with them is pretty fun.
And we've talked with Coach Hirschman, through the years when he had his two sons, and to say, what's it like at home? Do you talk football at home, or is it just, we kind of move on and talk about the books that they got for their birthday that we can't mention?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of football talk at home. I don't know if as much as John and Gav maybe, but definitely a lot of football talk at home. And, it's funny, after the game, we always go back and I think we have like an hour debriefing at the house. And it's funny because my wife and Reddy are right there involved as well. Shout out to Reddy. It's her 18th birthday today. But yeah, there's definitely a whole debriefing going through it and talking through it, and then every day at dinner after practice. Usually it's Kinnick or Carver blaming each other for either a bad throw or a bad route, one of the two. So.
Now, which one's more boisterous or outgoing? Which one talks the most between the two?
Kinnick's got a little more emotion behind him, and probably a little more getting after Carver sometimes, but. Yeah, that's it.
There's no Terry Brand, Tom Brand's fights at home like we've heard.
No, they're pretty tight. They're pretty tight, but they don't know.
It's amazing how you see them always walking around together. Obviously, they were born together. But
Right. No, all the time. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, and when there's downtime, even after a game, after practice, they'll be out shooting some hoops or doing whatever else and working out together. So yeah.
So from now to the, for the next week or two, how are you hoping that things progress from the fresh Soph standpoint? What are you seeing that you're thinking, okay, we can really improve on this? 3-0, that's great, but what are things that we really want to start working on moving forward?
Yeah, Dan was always preaching again tonight that we can get better. We can get better. We got to keep getting better, even though we're 3-0, and that's always the case. But so we installed like a couple new plays today. We were able to see what we can handle, what we can't, and start to add some more things here and there. But, again, still the fundamentals, running routes correctly, where we might be getting open, might be making some plays, but when you look at it on tape or even in the game, you're like, we might got away with that. It wasn't a real hard route or something like that. So I think just working on some of those things, some of those fundamentals, and then just broadening that playbook a little bit.
And are you excited to see the depth, the experience now and the success of these kids? And you're thinking, okay, year 2, 3 from now, it's really going to make Friday nights for the varsity team look that much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the future looks bright. On all sides of the football, really. And yeah, to start seeing that come to fruition, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, we aren't going to ask you the question that we asked the senior, saying, hey, what are your future plans? We want to make sure that, first of all, I have another question, but you got to make sure and give a shout out to the real MVP of the Boelk family for letting this all come together,
yeah,
right?
My wife, Amy, of course. Yeah, of course. No.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. She tells me where to be, where to go between work and between coaching. Having your own business, it's a lot, right? And it's grueling on time, but yeah, she holds everything together, keeps the boys and ready, healthy, and eating right, and yeah, couldn't do without her for sure.
And since you haven't been part of an end of the season highlight film, I'll ask you the fun question before we call it quits. You think, I'm a West Branch Bear. What does that mean to you?
I think pride and community is first and foremost, and we saw it this summer in an unfortunate way, but we saw people come together in different ways when we had to. But I think as a Bear, I think it's all about that. I think it's about relationships, about community, and working hard. I think that's the other thing. I got to mention one thing too here. Every game, every week in the press box, we got Luke working on his popcorn rubric. And for those who don't know, you'll need to ask him that. But we are ranking popcorns at every concession stand. So for those visitors coming up, get your popcorn ready because it's going to get judged really hard.
And how much does it, like if it's slightly burnt? I mean, is that like kind of like doing like the Russian judge of the old times and the swimming? If there was any splash, it was over.
Yeah, it's a full system, ranked on a 3-point basis for each category. So you better bring it, or it's gonna hold down. So. West Branch's popcorn, by the way, is holding pretty high right now, so it's good.
Brian Boelk, fair football coach, great popcorn judge. That's what we've gained from this interview. Anything else you want to add tonight?
No, hey, go Bears.
Go Bears, and we'll be right back with more of the pregame. You're listening to the Bearcast on westbranch.football.